Hey, it is Curtis Gross from Remax United, and I want to be your realtor. And I'm with the Mortgage Marine right now, Brad Stinson. Brad, I'm working with a VA loan client, and so are you. So here's my question. We've been looking at new builds, and I want to know how a VA loan works with new construction. Can you buy a VA loan, new construction house?
Yes, you can. So the role the VA plays in this is they're insurance providers. They insure lenders in the event of default or foreclosure, 25%, blah, blah, blah. That's the entitlement aspect of it. Now, yes, you can, short answer, you can purchase or build a home using your VA home loan benefit. It gets a little tricky though.
Well, that's the question, right? Because we all know the zero down is the earned benefit. How does that apply when a builder is not going to be giving you any concessions, right? They're like, here's my price, you're paying it, go.
Well, it's kind of a loaded question, all right? So first, let's define the two definitions of the houses here.
Perfect.
Right? Because that's what we should probably do, because there are new constructions that don't qualify as a new construction, right?
Okay, what do you mean? It's new, it's there.
So an existing home, simply put, it was previously occupied. It was built and occupied before you're purchasing and moving in.
You are buying it from the owner who lives in it.
Correct. Not the builder.
Right.
Okay, that's the short answer. I mean, there's a long, drawn-out answer for that. But a new construction is one that has not been previously lived in.
Okay.
Simply put, right?
It
brand new.
It was a vacant lot before it was built, and no one has lived in it.
Correct. Now, with the new construction, there's two different types of financing programs.
Okay.
Okay, there's builder finance. All right, they finance the entire build, and then at the very end, it's just like purchasing an existing home.
Okay.
So that's where it's technically not a new construction, even though you are moving into a brand new home, right? The other new construction is the construction draw, which turns into a permanent loan. So you close at the very beginning, and then the builder pulls money. It almost acts as a line of credit, if
Correct.
you will. All right, so you get approved for this line of credit. That's how much of money the builder has to play with.
Okay.
All right, and when I say play with, that means draw the money so they can pay the contractor to pour the foundation or build the walls.
And they do that at various times throughout the process.
Correct. When we built, this is no exaggeration, it was probably 11 draws in 7 months. All right, just because everything comes hot and heavy, or everything seems to slowly creep up, and then when it's go time, it's time to execute. Next thing you know, you're signing all these documents for draw request.
So if I'm doing a builder loan, then that doesn't involve you or the VA, right? That's them financing.
No.
That's like buying a car, or is that something different?
No, that's like you owning your home right now.
Okay.
And you're putting money into it to build it up to sell.
Okay.
Right? You're putting your own money into it, knowing that you're going to get that money back when you sell it. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Right? There's 3 big builders in the state that do builder finance. Allen Edwin's probably the biggest one.
Okay, around here for sure.
Around here. Sable Homes. Eastbrook Homes. Those are the 3 that I know. Now,
Okay.
there's probably more out there. Those are just the 3 that we deal with all the time.
And those are big ones, right? So that's like the Ford, the Chevy, and the Dodge of the builders
There
in
you
our
go.
area. I mean, there's a Fiat, there's the little guys that do more specialized, but those are the big 3 around here.
Correct. And then you have the Teslas out there that are in the market.
Oh, right.
Right?
Exactly.
That are more custom built. And those custom builds are going to be consumer or lender finance, because a construction loan is the riskiest loan a lender can take on. And why is that?
Because there's nothing built.
There's no guarantee. Tomorrow's never guaranteed.
Right.
Right. So if you close on a loan tomorrow and you're not moving in for 9 months because it's not built yet, what's the guarantee you're going to have a job in 9 months?
Right.
Right. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but that's 1,000% true.
That's why you are checking employment, the day of closing.
Correct.
It's the Antonio Brown meme that went around throughout the real estate and mortgage world. I'm sure that we both have seen it, and maybe you saw it because it was shared by somebody. It's Antonio Brown jumping up in the end zone, and it says, "This is why your lender checks your employment the day of closing."
Did he retire mid-game?
We don't know. We don't know.
Had a tantrum and just stormed off.
He said they knew he was hurt. He didn't want to play because he was too injured. Who knows? We'll find out, right? But that's not what we're talking about. VA loans here, not millionaire football players.
It's spoiled, baby. But so with a construction loan, because it's so risky for the lender, obviously you, the buyer, are going to have a bona fide, squared away credit profile.
Got it.
You're going to have reserves. So, take me for example. We had to be able to carry our existing home loan.
Okay.
Because obviously we're not going to sell our house and live on the streets
Yep.
until our new house is built, right?
Smart.
So we had to be able to afford that for 6 months, right? So
Mhm.
6 months reserves is what that's called. And then we had to have 6 months reserves for the anticipated payment of completion,
Okay.
right? So we had to have 12 months, right? Which kind of shocks you at first. Like, what?
Right.
We need how much?
Right. We don't all have 12 months.
But then on top of that, you also have your closing costs.
Okay.
Right? With any transaction, a real estate transaction, you're going to have your upfronts and prepaids.
But hold on, okay? Because there's the big red flag that goes up.
Let's go.
Everybody says
Bring it.
VA loans,
Bring it.
you can't pay closing costs. But that's not true. You've been talking about that for years.
There's a difference between closing costs and down payment. Now, we have earned the right to finance 100%.
Yeah.
100% of the appraised value we can finance. And as of January 1st, 2020, we can finance above and beyond the conforming loan limits. You know,
Awesome.
everybody thought that there was a limit before. There
Right.
is no limit now. Technically, there wasn't one before, but there is no limit. If you can find a lender that'll provide $10 million home loan to you, the VA will insure
Take it.
so long as you have full entitlement.
All right, we'll talk later.
yes.
I got my eye on a couple of places.
But where was I going with that?
You're talking about closing costs versus
closing costs. Yeah.
the prepaid.
So closing costs, you can finance 100%, right? Now, I've talked to many veterans who are like, I never paid closing costs. Well, they probably incorporated it into the offer using what's
Ding,
called
ding.
seller concessions.
Yeah, ding,
Thing
ding.
of value added on top of the transaction, right? But every real estate transaction has closing costs, and it's going to be your upfronts and prepaid. So your 12 months buy into your homeowner's insurance, property taxes, title insurance usually comprises like 2% of that.
Yep.
It's a bit, but I'd rather do title insurance than deal with attorneys.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you have other, like your appraisal and other fees. Okay, those are closing costs. They cannot be waived. All right, but if you have a skilled agent, especially in the VA realm, then we can make an offer to include
Correct.
the concession. Now, you cannot finance the closing costs, but you can place your offer
Yeah.
accordingly and make
Yeah.
it look cute to include the
We're
closing
going
costs.
to offer a few percentage points more, and you're going to give that back to us at closing, is how that works.
Hey man, I don't know. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm just a loan officer here.
Fair enough. So the short answer is yes. The very long answer is there are a lot of factors
There's a lot of variables
that go
Ton of
into
variables.
it. You need to, you need to work with the Mortgage Marine, right? I mean, you have been saying for years that veterans talk to veterans differently,
Yeah.
right? And we've seen it. You know how to push buttons. You know when it's okay to push or when you need to pull back. I can say something that just is like, screw you, it's right over the head, right? I've learned that helping out with the American Legion. Those guys, they bust each other all the time, right?
Yep.
And I sit there and I'm like, I can't say any of this because it would be misinterpreted. So you know which buttons to push, you know how to make a phone call and get things done where maybe somebody doesn't. So the veteran to veteran piece of what you offer that's invaluable.
Correct. I mean, when you're talking to other veterans, some of us are highly intelligent. Some of us, how we haven't stuck a fork in an outlet
Right?
is beyond me.
Well,
right?
and you know what a tattoo means.
Yes.
You know things that I miss out on. You know maybe something, you pick up on something and you're like, all right, I got to play it this way.
Yeah, well, you have to be able to articulate it in a manner in which they will receive it, right? And that's what I was getting at. I mean, there's ways that I can tie almost anything back to our time in service. And once you tie it into the time in
Yeah.
service, then whoa, light bulb, it all
Yeah.
makes sense. And that's the key when you're dealing with any home loan, especially new construction, right? Because I mean, if I wasn't a loan officer, I probably would be in jail right now.
Okay.
Because of all the frustrating parts and
Yeah.
of the new construction build out and everything.
And so
But-
you deal with it every day, and it was frustrating to you building a new house.
Yeah.
So imagine I'm just Joe Schmo, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I'm like, wait, what the heck? I thought we were all set. What do you mean I have to do this now? That's where you can hold their hand, your
Correct.
agent can hold their
Pull
hand,
'em
and
through.
kind of walk through. And
pull them through. Now it's all about working as a team. All right, you're only as good as your closest teammate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's been transactions where both agents have been highly involved and it's been awesome. It's gone off without a hitch. And then we've had transactions where agents are, it's like it's their precious. It's like Gollum from Two Towers, right?
Right.
Like my precious. I'm not. And those are just drawn out long processes, which in turn doesn't really make us want to jump because of all the headaches that we're going to deal with.
Well, and in truth, right, so if you are building a new house and you have an agent representing you as a buyer's agent, they are going to be a little more hands-off in that process, because once the contracts are done, that's really you and the builder kind of ironing stuff out. You don't want me sitting going, yeah, these tiles would be amazing.
That cabinet would be sweet.
That's not what you hired me for. You don't want that. You want me to be answering questions, making sure that the loan stuff is going through with Brad. You want me to make sure that everything is smooth. But yeah, you don't need me picking out the Berber.
Well, here's a great example of why it's important to use an agent, because when builders are trying to reach out to contractors to get bids, especially right now, contractors, if you want it right now, you're going to pay like 4 times as much.
Exactly.
Right? But if you want it down the road, they're going to give you a competitive quote, which the competitive quote is always the bottom 3 choices of everything.
Yeah, of course.
So in our case, we went over budget on everything.
Right.
Because if we're going to build a really nice house, we're not going to put in cheap-ass cabinets. Okay, we're going to go with the top tier.
And the cabinets are beautiful.
And tiles and tubs and all that stuff. I mean, you have to keep that in mind. And an agent that's experienced in it will be able to help you navigate through that and guide your thoughts through it, because the last thing that you want to do is come out of pocket over and over and over and over again, because that's not fun for anybody. I was very mad every time that I looked at I got to drop a cashier's check off for how much because of what?
How does that work? So we all know like loan to value and debt income ratio. So if I am going over budget continually, constantly, and I'm drawing on my reserves, how does that affect the loan over the life of the process of building? I mean, is there a chance that you could get so over your head that it falls apart?
Yeah, because before it rolls into permanent financing, right? So from the time that you close to the time that you occupy the house, you're in what's called a construction draw loan. Okay, once that construction draw loan comes to an end, that means you're moving into the house. You're going to roll over into permanent financing, right? Automatically. Yes, there is another underwriting that needs to happen and a review. So I mean, if you have gone crazy with your Lowe's credit card because that seems to be the rite of passage, you might not be eligible. Again, riskiest loan for lenders to give.
So
this is a case in point.
We say with single family or the existing homes, don't go buy your furniture before you close. Don't buy a new truck, right? You can eke it out. You can Uber. You can have friends pick you up for 2 weeks.
It's 30 days.
Exactly.
Just embrace the suck for 30 days. I've embraced the suck for a hell of a lot longer than that.
So that's easy, right? Quote unquote. But if I'm looking at 9, 10, 11, 12 months, it's not that easy. It really, you got to be disciplined, and that's where having a great loan officer, having a great agent working with you, and where you can call and say, Curtis, I need this, or Brad, what do you think of this? And you can say, stop. Don't do that. Yes, don't do that. Let's get you to the new house. Let's continue to focus on our goal. Let's not worry about the little piddly things right now. So can you buy new construction with a VA loan?
Yes.
Is it harder?
Yes.
Is it going to take discipline?
Absolutely.
Does it matter who your loan officer and agent are in that process?
Yes, it does. All right. I mean, everybody. There's going to be somebody out there with a lower rate. There's going to be somebody out there who's going to offer you the world. There's always going to be those people out there. I mean, even in life in general, there's always going to be somebody that has more than you and somebody has less. Okay, but I ask you this: do you want to live in the house? Or do you not want to live in the house?
Ding, ding, right?
Because that's what separates loan officers is their ability to execute. And sadly, the VA world, very few loan officers execute on a VA home loan. And that's not because of anything of their own doing, it's just lack of experience.
Right.
Period.
Love it, period. We end on that. That was awesome.